you guys crushed it. 160 likes as of right now on that video. I said if any video in April got 100 likes or more, I would upgrade the microphone system. Obviously, that was a huge priority for you guys because you guys crushed it. Or 100 likes was just too easy to do. But regardless, that video did much better than previous videos recently on the channel. So I appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, and interacting with that video. Helps just build the channel. So since you guys are showing action throughout the channel, I will upgrade the sound system. I'm going to order a new wireless microphone, something I can clip on while I'm talking, just to give you guys a little bit better quality on the videos. And I'm gonna order that. Everything takes a long time to get to Iceland, so I don't know how long it's gonna take. It'll probably take a couple weeks before I actually get the product. So you'll have to bear with these videos for a little bit longer until that microphone system shows up. So while we're on it, make sure if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of cool things planned that I would like to do as this channel grows. Subscribing, interacting, dropping comments, liking the videos, all that kind of stuff is going to help the channel grow, allow me to do some of these things that I have planned in the future. We're going to get into today's training session. Today is going to be a lower body kind of power explosive type workout. The last two training blocks that I've done on this program, we started off with heavy isometric work. We moved into some heavy eccentric work. Now we're going to move into getting a little bit more rate of force development, trying to do things more explosively. So that means no isos, no eccentric work. We're looking at moving barbells fast, getting explosive, and getting strong. So that's going to be today. We're going to start off with some jump variations, move into some barbell movements, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, first thing starting off today, I just call these reactive hops. We're going to be basically doing a pogo, but then landing on top of the box to kind of break up that motion, drop back down, bounce off the ground. So you're just being more reactive, the same way that I've done in previous training blocks where I was using the bands, doing pogo hops. Just to kind of warm up, what I like to do is just start with a low variation on what I'm going to be doing, and then just gradually build up in intensity as we go. So for these, I'm probably going to do anywhere between 3 to 4 sets of 10 reps. And I'm going to start on top of the box, drop down to the ground, bounce off the ground, catch myself with one foot, and then just drop back down to the box and repeat that for the 10 reps. That's what my warm-up looks like. I don't like to warm up a lot. I basically just start doing whatever it is I'm going to be doing, just at a lower intensity, and then just kind of build up as intensity until I get to what I feel is going to be a good working set. So start with one box. We'll go to 2. There you have it. So probably start stacking up like a plate just to get up a little bit shorter increments as we build. But I think my working sets today will be probably 3 of these boxes, which each of them is about 20 centimeters. So that'll be about 60 centimeters total on today's reactive jumps. First set here, 60 centimeters on the box. The box height isn't really a goal. It's just to kind of make sure that you're maintaining intensity throughout the repetitions. So if it's too low, then you're not going to get as much reactive force off the ground because that box isn't going to be pushing you to kind of jump higher. But the goal of this isn't to necessarily increase the height of the box to getting up as high as you can. It's to set the box at a challenging height that you can do for those 10 repetitions to just maintain intensity throughout the course of those repetitions there. So 60 centimeters here. Set number 1. Second thing we're doing is seated box jumps. If you followed me on Instagram for any period of time, you know I love seated variations for my jumps. I just feel like they help kind of build that explosive starting power better than anything else, rather than doing kind of like a counter movement jump, which those have their time and place. I will spend a lot more time doing stuff like this than I would doing an approach box jump, anything else like that. I just feel like I get the most benefit out of these variations. I'm also very good at producing force from these specific positions, which allows me to really progress this movement very well. So on this seated box jump, I want to be hips, knees, somewhere around 90-ish degrees. If you're not at 90, I would prefer that you're above 90 degrees versus below 90 degrees. It's a lot easier to produce high amounts of force from lower joint angles than it is from greater joint angles, meaning if I was sitting in a position where I'm totally flexed at the knee and flexed at the hip, I'm not going to be very powerful and be able to create a lot of force quickly, where at 90 degrees, I can explode out of this position a lot faster. So somewhere around 90 degrees, maybe slightly above 90 degrees, only going to be doing sets of 2 on this. Somewhere between 3 to 5 sets total on this, and we're just going to start off like we did with the reactive jumps. We'll do a set or 2 with a lower box, build it up a little bit. I'll probably only be at 4 boxes today, and then maybe over the weeks progress that to try to build to like a really high. My thing with the box jump, understand that the reason that the box is there is mainly to take away the ground forces upon landing. So if I was just going to be sitting here, jump in the air as high as I can, land back onto the ground, that's a lot of force that my body is going to have to adapt to as I land back onto the ground. Jumping onto a box, if I jump as high as I can, maybe I'm getting 20 centimeters above the box, so my body only needs to react to that 20 centimeter drop versus a 1 meter drop if I was jumping up as high as I possibly can. Second thing for the box, also is going to just maintain intensity on every repetition. If you're just doing regular jumps with no sort of external cue, it's hard to really sense if you're putting that same amount of effort in every single jump. That box is going to be a good feedback for you. You can see like how much higher above the box are you hitting on when you land onto it. Are those reps looking and feeling the same? And then my last rule with the box is never land in a full squat position. The idea of the box, like I said, is not to just try to get up onto as high of a box as you can. It's to lessen those ground forces. So you always want to be landing in a more athletic stance. It's safer. Let's say something happens, you don't jump as hard as you can on one repetition. If you're constantly landing here, the likelihood that you're going to make that position if you have a bad jump is very low. But if you're always landing in an athletic position and you happen to catch yourself a little bit lower, you've got room to move there as you go on those box jumps. So 4 sets, 5 sets maybe, 2 repetitions each. The other thing, as we get into box jumps from a seated position, as the box gets higher, you need to create more space away from that box in order to get on top. you're never going to be jumping straight up and down. There's always going to be kind of an arc to it as you jump because we're jumping in a forward motion. So as that box gets higher, you need to get further away to allow that arc to land on top of the box. I'm not going to do this box jump from this position here because by the time I'm jumping up in the air, my feet or knees are going to hit the box before I'm even high enough to get it. So as the box gets higher, create more space, allow yourself some room to get an aggressive arm swing and be able to get up on top of that box. But first set of 2 here. We'll do 4 sets, I think will be good. Next up on the list of things to do today, sticking with the theme of this is a power output, explosive, move things kind of fast type of day. We're going to be doing a box squat, sets of 4 on this. I want to be explosive and fast. So we're not going to do a traditional box squat where you see a lot of guys do, especially in powerlifting, where they sit down on the box, kind of rock back, and then explode forward. I'm using that box as just kind of a reference point on hitting as deep a range of motion as I want to go today. And then I'm going to explode off of that box as quickly as possible. So as I'm doing the box squats, I'm just going to use that as kind of an external cue and explode out of that position as quickly as possible for those repetitions. We're not going to start off very heavy on these this week because I haven't actually done a straight bar back squat in probably 6 months. Any variation of it. I've strictly been using a trap bar and a safety bar, so I don't want to overload this too much. So I'm saying if you're going to use percentages, let's say 60 to 70%, somewhere around there, because of the nature of the squat that I'm doing today where I want it to be fast and explosive and I'm not intending to go very heavy on the barbell, I'm going to add bands. 2 reasons. Changes the strength curve a little bit where you have to continuously produce force as you go. Second reason is anytime I do explosive variations, especially if we have a little bit of light weight on the bar, as you go down and explode up, I don't want that bar kind of popping off the shoulders and then having to catch it. The bands will allow you to really produce that force, but they're going to minimize the amount of movement that that bar comes up and off the shoulders. So if I was to do it without bands and explode, that barbell is going to want to pop off the shoulders. Those bands are going to allow that bar to stay stuck to you a little bit, but you can still explode through that movement. Obviously, they'll add a little bit of resistance to it, change that strength curve a little bit, which is a good thing for today's session. But main focus there is just they make it a little bit safer where you don't have to worry about trying to pop the bar off the shoulders and then catch it. I want to be able to just sit, explode, rep after rep after rep, quickly as possible, not have to catch the bar, reset, and then go into the next rep. Alright, so real quick, obviously I'm not in the gym right now, but somebody came into the gym I don't like to take up space while other people are training there. It's a really small gym. So I stopped kind of explaining while I was doing things when the person came in. I still filmed everything, so you guys are going to see the rest of the session here just in a second. But I want to get into what exactly I did. I did 5 sets of 4 on those explosive box squat variations with the bands. After that, I went into a lunge variation. The lunge variation, I kind of got the idea from watching Ryan Krauser, who is an Olympic shot put world record holder. He was doing this barbell rotating walk type thing, which makes sense for him. He's a rotational athlete. I wanted to do some sort of variation on that while still having a limited amount of space. I can't do, you know, long carries or farmer's walk or anything like that. So I did this lunge variation with a twist. You're going to see the 2 sets that I filmed. I loaded the barbell up differently just to kind of see how the resistance made the movement feel. They're very similar. One was an offset variation where the load was only in the front as I went through the rotation, and then one had the even amount of load on both sides of the barbell. I'm probably going to stick with that variation for this block just because I like it. That rotation, I feel like, gets me a little bit deeper into the hip, which is what I wanted from doing the seated box jumps and then the box squats. I wanted to get something that had a little bit more range of motion into it. Even though the focus of the session was to be powerful and explosive, I still wanted to throw something in there that was going to give me some range of motion, not overload it too much, but just kind of still express that deep hip flexion, a little bit of the knee flexion, and try to get some work on that. So on that, I did sets of 8. I don't remember how many sets I did. I did probably a total of like 5 or 6 because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to load it. Did I want to do it with a barbell? Did I want to do it with a dumbbell? Whatever I was going to do. So the first 3 sets of that were probably a warm-up. So I probably actually did 3 working sets of 8 reps on that. And then I finished with some Nordics on the GHD. So make sure you've liked. Make sure you subscribe if you are not a subscriber right now. I appreciate you guys for watching.